All right, guys, hope you're having a great day. We are coming to you straight from the knife shop at 4,200 feet in the hills of Oregon. And we're going to try and do a brief video today on the SS1, a variation of the SS1, which is our survival knife, one of our survival knives here on gearconvoy.com, designed and built, obviously, by me. Let me go ahead and let's get right into it. Unfortunately, we're going to have to kill the soundtrack. Hunter is playing over here, and I can't think with the music going. Okay, so long story short, I did two versions of this video already trying to get through this, and the simplest way to do this is we started offering a variation, or we're thinking about it, I should say, is more accurate. So this is our simplest version of the SS1, Safe System 1. We typically have a leather sheath with these and a really nice satin finish. This is a rough proto that's beat up, but I didn't have any other ones handy. They're all packed up. You can see the surface ground finish, the grind lines run parallel with the edge, and it's a very attractive finish when it's all done. That was one of the earlier rougher versions. We refined that grit and went to a higher grit. It comes out very slick. We've had nothing but really good reviews and feedback on the fit and finish and everything. The problem is high levels of fit and finish and a very expensive US-made leather sheath and so forth kind of drives up the cost. Not everybody is wanting to dump that kind of money for a knife they want to go take and use. So I had some blemish finish knives. Let me get into this here. This is our basic duty sheath. So I really like this. This is a really simple Kydex sheath. Lots of lashing points, drain hole. You can put almost any kind of attachment you want in there. We sell a handmade, handcrafted leather belt loop attachment that goes on there as well. Beautifully done, excellent quality, good stuff all the way around. But again, that drives up the cost as well because all of this stuff is made and built by hand here in the United States. None of this is outsourced overseas. I do have certain things like machining and certain grinding applications outsourced here in the U.S., but believe me, I pay through the nose for that because that's part of it. It's an important part of what we do here at Gear Convoy and Wilson Custom Knives. Anyway, that's another story. So what we did is I had a couple of blemish finish knives. This is how the blades come from the grinding place where we get the blades ground here in the States. Okay, you can see the grind is running like almost it's a large, almost like a circular pattern. Okay, now we still do the clip and the spine are ground and cleaned up nicely. A razor sharp clip there or spine so you can strike a ferro rod. But we skip one of those steps because we don't surface grind these things to perfection. Sometimes we have some where either the grind lines or there's some pits that are just going to be too deep. And if we surface grind them all out, then what we're going to lose is our beautiful, nice, tight guard fit, okay, which, believe me, took a lot of work to get designed and dialed in and to get it done repeatably. So you kind of have a catch-22. Do you grind out all the flaws and then you no longer have a guard fit? It may wind up being a factory second because of the guard fit now, if you have to take 10, 20, 30 thou off the blade. Or do you sell the blade as is and you're saving the money and time you would put into there, but you're also passing that savings along to the customer? And there is neither one of those scenarios present a functional problem. They're aesthetic, but you got to decide, what would you rather have? Personally, I like the tight guard fit and so forth, but whatever, that's irrelevant. I got to be careful because I don't want to do something that's going to cheapen the brand as well. So I did a handful of these and they sold already. We did them through the newsletter. But we put the basic duty branding on there so everyone's going to know this wasn't a full, factory finish, surface ground blade and so forth. And I guess what my question really boils down to is, what do you guys think? I want some feedback if you don't mind, either in the comments or DMs or emails or whatever else. Let me know what you think of the idea before we, I'm thinking about putting this into the rotation and offering them regularly on the website. But I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I'd like some feedback from other people. So feel free. I don't care. You cannot possibly hurt my feelings. Sing out, like I said, comments, DMs, email me. info@gearconvoy.com, and let me know what you think. You can be as brief or as long-winded as you like. Now, one other thing, I need to do a video again on hollow-handled survival knives. So I got a couple of emails and questions over this recently, and it's like I've gone over this a number of times, but I don't think everybody is grasping the principles of physics that are involved here without trying to sound like a douche. Guys, this is not just my opinion. This is how physics works. When you have a hollow-handled survival knife, okay, it's by definition, it's a compromise. Not everybody's going to want a hollow-handled survival knife. I actually kind of like that basic duty branding. That looks kind of cool. Anyway, It's a compromise. You don't have a contoured, full tang handle and so forth, but you do get storage. What is the point of doing a hollow-handled survival knife if you have extremely limited storage? Okay? I've seen some survival knives, hollow-handled knives, that they have 1.5 inches or maybe 2 inches at most inside the storage space. You can barely fit regular stick matches in there. You may have to cut them down. If you do that, what is the point? The way these are designed, and I would use the word engineered, frankly, this goes in there, bada bing, bada boom. You get a full 3 inches. That's after you have to account for the butt cap getting screwed in there as well. That gives you a full 3 inches of storage. Now, as far as how deep the tang goes, let me ask you a question real quick. If you had to break a stick in half, would you rather break a stick in half that is a foot long or that is 1 inch long? Okay, so you see where I'm going with this? That's not a perfect comparison or analogy, but it wouldn't even matter if you had a piece of steel stuck in a vise. Would you rather try and break it off if you had 1/2 inch sticking out or 6 inches of metal sticking out? You see what I'm going with that? The longer you make that tang, after you make it long enough to join the handle, guard, and blade properly, all you're really doing is wasting space. I wouldn't go so far as to say you're weakening it, but technically, by the laws of physics, you are giving yourself a larger lever to break that handle off, okay? So anyway, think about that. I'll do a longer and maybe a more polished video on this at some point. But let me know, basically the thrust or the crux of this video is, what do you think about the idea of the basic duty version of this knife? It brings the cost down dramatically, but you are getting a slightly rougher finish. It carries full warranty. It has the same compass and everything, and you get to choose your color of cord wrap, and you can get it with or without the basic duty sheath. So let me know what you think. Have a great day, folks. Stay safe out there.